This podcast is intended for an adult audience over the age of 18. It contains explicit language and sexual situations. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed belong to us and are not representative of any employer, organization, or other individual. We are not experts. This podcast is not intended to be taken as professional advice.
Welcome.
Our safe word is pineapples.
I'm Dan.
I'm Sue.
Come with us as we navigate the lifestyle,
discover kinks,
and share what we've learned along the way.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 11.
Episode 11, yeah. We're going to talk about BDSM. We're going to start talking about BDSM.
Right, our BDSM journey.
Yes. From our very completely inexperienced and have no idea what we're talking about.
Right, from being in the dark.
In the dark, yes.
About BDSM.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that I was in the dark. I just didn't have any of the right information whatsoever.
We were in the dark. The
yes.
information that we had was very much
I had
wrong.
porn, and if you look at BDSM porn, it is not what BDSM is at all.
The only information I had was whatever popped up in the media. So, I mean, over the years, there have been news stories about BDSM, and they are not... I can't think of the correct word. My brain is coming up with fair, but that's just not quite the one I'm looking for.
They're not a good representation of what BDSM actually
representation
is. No.
At all.
No, not at all. So,
none.
I mean, before you, I didn't have any knowledge of what BDSM would be at all. I mean, my only knowledge would be, like you said, what came up in the media, and it would be stuff like spanking. You know, and I knew, people did floggers and stuff like that. That's about my entire knowledge. And then every once in a while you get something in there. And whenever I got any other bit of information, it was always the extreme BDSM. So I'd get like, here's spankers.
We were watching some different media because I knew about people being used as furniture and pet play.
Oh my God. Who are you and where did you put my wife? I did not know that all growing up. What were you watching?
I don't know. Mixed in there with the AMC and TCM. Apparently that made its way through.
Yeah, apparently. Jeez. And I thought I was the weird one. No, seriously, I knew about spankings and like blindfolds and maybe floggers. I wasn't entirely sure what a flogger was, but I was like, they got floggers. Okay, I guess. And then every once in a while I would get something like, these guys like to hang themselves from hooks and swing around the room and be like, what is this? What is going on? Definitely not for me. Like, that's all I ever knew about BDSM. Because then, like, I would, back in my porn days, I would look at porn and it would come up in the feeds and I just had no desire whatsoever, because a lot of it was stuff like, it would be spanking, but it was like the spanking to like the extreme, like almost bleeding or something like that. I was like, that's not what I am interested in at all. So I was just like, nope, we're just gonna push that aside and not touch that at all and not ever think about that ever again, which is weird to think of. That was how I started and where we are now. Because I'm essentially your dom and your sub.
Yes.
At the same time. And
right. We are switches with each other. We are switches,
yes. You are my dom and my sub. It's fantastic. I am enjoying this. But yeah, that was my beginnings. Apparently you had some... What is in those Turner Classic movies that you are watching?
I mean, it wasn't... We watched A&E as well growing up. But,
wow.
And PBS.
Oh, God.
I don't know what
Look at
channel
you.
it was on.
What?
But no, there was definitely a... I'm just going to call it a news broadcast, but it was probably something more along the lines of, like... one of those like in-depth like things, and it was about a group, and the they would have been the subs were used as furniture. And, and I guess the woman that was the spokesperson for the group was trying to do her best to explain what the subs got out of the experience, but it was.
Oh, you can't explain that stuff because it's a feeling, it's a mindset that you get into as a sub. Where if someone asked me while I was subbing for you or anyone else that I've subbed for, if they were to ask me at that moment, like, "Hey, what does this feel like?" or "What are you into?" I don't think I would be able to explain it.
Yeah, and it was definite. It was the same sort of thing with the show on Pet Play that I saw, where they were showing off the subs and the DOMs that got to speak for the groups were trying to explain what everyone was getting out of it, and they weren't given a fair chance to represent themselves in either situation.
It's the media. You don't get a fair chance to represent yourself,
right?
Unless it's like a documentary on BDSM. That's the only way you're gonna get. And
even then, that's only if the BDSM community is doing it. Yeah. If it's somebody outside.
Well, see, that's the other thing. I didn't know there was a community. It's just like swinging in general. I didn't know swinging was a community, and then to find out BDSM itself was a community, I honestly thought that it was individual things. These were just individual plays, and these were individual people.
Because I didn't know that the way it gets.
But I didn't know they got together and had fun with each other.
Right.
It's
exactly. Okay. Yeah.
It makes sense when you think about it, but to my younger mind, it didn't. It was just nothing I really thought of. I was mostly into...
Well, and that's the other thing. I saw two shows on two very different aspects of BDSM, and in the way they were handled, they made it feel like these things were not interconnected in any way. So you see these things, and you're like, oh, well, that's one thing over here, and that's one thing way over there, and never the two shall meet, and that's not the case.
Yeah, come to find out, they could be best friends and they're hanging out all the time with each other. And
right.
Every once in a while, one of the ones doing pet play comes out and they are just the pet for the evening for just reasons, because they're just playing. And then a Dom is doming a sub in the corner somewhere, and that's just how they play. You don't know that. I don't know that, but I didn't realize that they did interconnect like that. So it was a kind of mind-blowing thing to find that out. When I did, and we were really into doing anything with each other. I mean, we did do a couple of spankings at times, but it was never anything we didn't have a flogger.
No,
we didn't have the riding crop we have now. Or
we didn't do we really didn't do a lot of
I'm saying it was like a spank, because this is what every once in a while you're kind of supposed to do, I got you in doggy, I'll give you a little spank on the ass or something like that. That's how it was. It wasn't more like what we do now.
But even
that was
then.
but at the same time, that's what my perception of what even BDSM was just you're in the middle of sex and you give a little spanking, and there you go. That's BDSM. It is not.
It is not. No, which makes but it does make it funnier that you and I were taking part in knife play long before
we were. We have to tell the story of how we got into knife play. So the fun thing about Sue is a lot of the stuff we've found that arouses Sue and gets her going. We've done so by accident.
Purely by accident.
So I was Sue. You were cooking. Sue was cooking because she was standing at the stove, and I was just messing around with her one time. And we have a large butcher knife.
It's not a butcher knife.
It's a chef's knife. Chef's knife. Yes. I don't know which the knives. There's all different knives. It's a large knife. Mike Myers could kill someone with a knife easily. That's all I know. It's that kind of a knife.
We're going to classify blades by horror movies.
There you go. Yeah, see? This is a Mike Myers knife. That one over there is a Leatherface knife. It's very easy that way. Now I understand which one is which.
Okay, yes, with the Mike Myers knife.
So I was washing it, actually, and I was drying it, and, just fooling around.
coming over to put it away.
Coming over to put it away where it belonged in the drawer next to where you were standing. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to... I wonder what happens if I rub this down, the point of this, down Sue's spine. And I was purely thinking you were going to be like, oh, God, oh, no, stop, what are you doing? And the noise that came out of your mouth, we both stopped because it took you by surprise. Because it was a moan of pure pleasure that came out of your mouth. And you just stopped. I remember you stopped and you like, turned to me and we just stared at each other for like 30 seconds, just like, the fuck just happened? So then we decided
to experiment some more because
we did initially we did experiment with the knife. We did bring the knife up to bed. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
At first, and then we found a letter opener, which is in the shape of Excalibur.
Yes. Which
is significantly safer than having a Mike Myers knife in your bed. Word to the wise, the more you know, do not sleep with a Mike Myers knife. It is not safe.
You're making it sound like we had some sort of accident with the knife.
We didn't have an accident, no, but we could have because you are clumsy as hell, and I move around in my sleep. That's all it would have taken is one of us rolling onto this damn thing, and next thing you know, we're going to the hospital because that's how it would be. Then you got to explain that one. Could you explain that one? How'd you get cut? Well, I was sleeping with a knife, and I rolled over onto it. You know, as you do.
As you do. As you do.
But no, so yeah, we found a letter opener, and I think actually the letter opener was really the knife and the letter opener was really our first steps wading into actual BDSM
without being aware of
I had no idea
were doing. So, I mean, knife play is considered one of the riskier forms of
you
play.
Don't say.
Right? I know.
Really?
And at this point, you and I are like, no, BDSM's not for us.
BDSM's not for us. We are not that couple. We were like that nerdy couple. Like, excuse me, we are not BDSM couples. We have missionary sex. We have regular sex.
And the knife.
And the knife, just so you know. A rather large knife in the room, but you know, you have to have a large one. Can't go on with steak knives. That's just weird. Yeah, that was. It's so weird to think that was our first like wading into actual BDSM without knowing what the hell it was at all, or knowing that we were doing that. I didn't know we were wading into BDSM. I just knew that, like as our motto goes, as long as we're not hurting anyone, which we were taking good care. Hence, we swapped out the knife for a letter opener, which was a lot safer. As long as you're not hurting anyone, you're not doing anything illegal, and everyone's consensual, and kind of offshoot is like it's not gross because that's just us.
Yes.
Try it out. The worst that can happen is you go, you know what? Didn't like it. Let's not do that again. Mm-hmm. And that's what we started doing from there. We just started kind of exploring stuff.
I think from there, the next is we got the cuffs that we have.
We did. We have cuffs we have those ones that go into the bed, which are fantastic. Mm-hmm. Did we start with the ones under the bed? I think those are the first ones we had. Yeah.
Yeah. We got the ones that go under the bed. We generally don't use. We generally just use the wrist restraints.
We do well because your feet, you can't put your legs in the one at the back. And
it pulls me. It pulls my body too tight and can make things painful that aren't normally painful.
Well, not good painful.
Yeah, not good painful.
Well, it puts you at different weird angles too for like penetrative sex or anything like that. You have an angle that it's not going to be.
It's not
comfortable
pleasant for me.
You at all. So. And that's a weird thing I found out about BDSM too is as much as there's pain involved, like spankings or like the knife play or something like that, it's still about comfort, which is it's a weird mind fuck to sit there and go, like now, where we are now, for me to like spank you and your ass is getting red and stuff like that, and then go, is everything okay? Are you comfortable? And you're like, yes, I'm still comfortable. We're good. Meanwhile, your ass is like a flaming red color going on here. You're like, no, we're good. Keep going. It's just a weird thing to think about, but that's, essentially what it is. And we really didn't do a whole lot. And we definitely, even now, like new couples that we meet, we don't play BDSM with them at all. Like,
we do not.
Right off the bat, or even try anything BDSM with them, because it's not really a safe thing for new people to do with someone you don't know. There's a lot of information.
Well, especially if they have not expressed any interest.
Yeah, well, yeah. If they don't express any interest at all, and that we're not going, hey, you want me to tie you to the bed and spank you? No.
But yeah, I mean, it was a slow journey while we, lied to ourselves about our interest.
Well, I think we tried blindfolding and stuff like that too, with like scarves and everything like that. Not like the official blindfolds.
No, we didn't.
The cool ones we found.
Right, we have much nicer ones now. We did. We tried some blindfolding. I don't think it was ever really.
Well, some of it you were, because you still deal with some of your stuff going on, and you were having issues with being blindfolded and not knowing what was going on, and like having knives around you and stuff. So there's a weird fear that was happening. At least there was also.
I don't think so. I would think it was the problem was the blindfolds I could see, so the light was coming in.
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not the one who has to see everything.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. We found that out later that I have to be fully visual.
Yes, we did discover later in our BDSM journey that you have to see.
I have to see what's going on, or else I get bored.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, can you believe that? Like, I still can't believe that I could be tied up and have a beautiful naked woman blowing me, but if I have a blindfold on, I get bored. It's okay. That's also. I've found that as we've gone through our BDSM journey, we've, at least for me, I've explored and had to like think about myself in all new ways. Like,
yes, we've definitely learned more about ourselves.
I've learned stuff that I didn't know. Like, I never in a million years thought that I would want to spank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've always been,
we both have childhood trauma.
We do. We both have childhood trauma involving, not abusive, but borderline abusive or abusive individuals in authority above us. And I've always been one that's, my mind's always been like, I would never hit a woman. Like, I would never hit a woman, unless, self-defense or something like that. But I would never hit a woman just because I'm hitting a woman. I never felt comfortable doing that. So the idea of hitting you was just something that was so completely foreign to me that even if it came into my mind, I just rejected it, like, right off the bat. Like, no, we're not going to do that. That would not be anything. That's why, like, when the initial spankings of you were really, I mean, we're talking taps.
Yes.
And then, I mean, I'm working on my dirty talk in bed. Mm-hmm. But at the time,
there was one time, and I don't know if you remember. I remember. But
you remember everything, so.
I know.
You're like
there
an
was
elephant.
one time I convinced you to punish me.
Yeah?
Yes, and you did, and it was fantastic, and we both came really hard, but like the drop after that was so, for me, because we didn't know, this was before we like actually explored BDSM, and we didn't know what we were doing, so there was like no aftercare afterwards.
No.
So like the drop afterwards, I was like, nope, never again.
This is great doing the podcast with you because I learned so much about me. All this stuff I've done, I don't remember at all. I just have you to be like, Sue, what did I do at that point? And you tell me.
Right? I mean, because we said, well, we came. Obviously, something good came out of it.
Yeah.
But, like, there was a lot of...
Well, I would have had to have been out of my comfort zone in order to do that at that time. So
yeah, and it's also would have been far out of my comfort zone as well.
But that's one of the fun things I found about exploring BDSM is it's not so much, I don't see it so much as pushing my boundaries as exploring the peripheries of my comfort zone and how far they can go.
Yes.
So I don't, like I said, I don't see it as pushing my boundaries. And I know there's a lot of people in the community, or quote, in the community. And like, there's a lot of guys, we get contacted all the time by a lot of guys, because we do have some BDSM content now out there that we've shown of you, you know, blindfolded and with a collar on and stuff like that. Or even, you know, I do have some with you with nipple clamps on, stuff like that. And we do get guys that will contact me, and I'm sorry, we said it before, and I'll say it again, I'll say it as many times as I can. Alphas don't exist. It's not a real thing. It's a fake thing. Alpha is a term that douchebags use to justify being a douchebag. That's all that term is. And we've gotten a number of guys over the years, even while we were exploring our stuff, and they want to quote dom you, and their whole idea of doming a woman in general is just hitting them.
Yeah, and I'm not here for that.
Like, and they'll tell me flat out, they just want to like slap you around or choke you with their cock or something like that, and I have no desire to see that at all. Because again, I one of the things that arouses me about when you play with other people is your enjoyment. And I know you don't enjoy that.
No,
you're not going to be
no.
having fun doing that. So
No.
I have no desire to see that because you're not going to be enjoying it. And you know, even since I've come out, I've had quote doms that have told me that they want me to choke on them and stuff like that, and like, I don't want to do that. And it confuses these guys because I'll tell them flat out, like, you're not a dom, you're not a bull, you're not, you know, the alpha doesn't exist, and they hate when I tell them that. But I'll tell them flat out, that's not what a dom does. Like, you can't come at me right off the bat saying you're a dom and you're going to dominate me, or you're going to dominate Sue. It's just not how it works. I don't know who you are.
Right? Yeah, there's
you don't know me. I don't know you.
There's been no discussion.
You have no idea what we want. You base all of what you think I want, or you think what you want, on
Some pictures and their own desires.
some pictures and maybe a couple of 1-minute clips I have somewhere.
Yeah, but again, their own desires.
Their own desires, and that's a huge weird projection of people, and some of it goes back to, again, there's not a whole lot. There's starting to become more, which is very nice. There's more in like the media now about actual BDSM.
I mean, it has to get out there. You have to combat like the 50 Shades of Grey. And
I think honestly,
was it 365 Days or whatever that horrific movie is? Oh my God.
Well, I think honestly that's when it really started. Because you had like 50 Shades of Grey come out, and you had all these horny older women going, "Oh my God, he's so
I don't even
sexy."
understand. No, I don't even understand how. Like, I don't.
I don't either. First off, it's terrible writing, but I don't understand how that. But you had all these like older women, and you had all these ladies who are like, "Oh my God, I want to be dominated so bad right now." And then I'd see like these news things. They were talking to women. They're talking about like, "I want to be spanked" and all that stuff, and I'd be like, "That." I read snippets of this book, whatever I could choke down to read, and it is terrible. And
I didn't get past the first couple of chapters.
I mean, it is telling that she wrote she wanted to write the whole stories over from his point of view, and everyone's like, "Wow, he sounds like a serial killer."
He sounds like a serial killer in the first one.
I know he
I don't
does.
understand like how people got into the, but like got past the beginning. Like I read the first like couple of chapters, like he's gonna kill you, and I had to stop.
Well, people like terrible writing. Okay.
Look, I've read some terrible books, and they were still better than
But I
like
think-
those first couple of chapters.
I do think that the 50 Shades of Grey, when that phenomenon happens, when like people who are actually in the BDSM community said no, full stop, brakes. We're putting the brakes on this because that is not, because those women started coming into the BDSM community even on the sidelines, and they were talking in such a way that like, I read the books, I know what we're all about. Like, no you don't, hon. You have no idea what this is about whatsoever. Those books are fiction, and they are beyond
They're beyond
fiction.
There are better fictional books about BDSM that
Well, at the same time, a lot of them
don't include people that are probably serial killers.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Oh, well, a lot of them also, you could push them to these other books and be like, hey, try this. This is what this is actually about. And there was a rise in people like actually being interested in BDSM and spanking and doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, floggers and stuff like that and all that. I started looking into that after you, because why not? Flogging you is fun. I do enjoy it a lot. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I didn't really know what was going on. We explored, I mean, this is also, we were exploring a lot of stuff at one time. This is when we explored anal, which went wrong.
We did it wrong.
We did it.
We did it wrong.
We did it so wrong.
We did it wrong.
I'm weirdly ashamed to say that I was fascinated with getting in your ass.
I think you still are.
I think it's different now because I know what I'm doing.
We know what we're doing now. So
Yeah,
it's not,
I think
it's-
before it was more like a fantasy. Like, ooh. I wonder what this is going to be like. It's going to be awesome. I have no idea what I'm doing. We'll figure it out as we go, which don't do.
No, you cannot
you
figure out
can't.
anal as you go.
You cannot.
You cannot do it that way.
But yeah, we explored that. We explored spanking. We explored knife play, which is still weird. It's funny because we explored knife play, and then later on when we got into more BDSM, we found other people who are into BDSM, and they'd ask us what we were all about, what we enjoy, and we go, we kind of enjoy knife play, and they're like, you do what?
I know.
You guys like what? You play with knives in bed? Yes?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with that? No, it's just that's kind of extreme. Never thought of it as extreme. I mean, we don't do anything. I just run the tip of the... Well, it's a letter opener, but it's kind of a blade because it's shaped like a sword. That counts.
It is sharp.
It is sharp.
Can cut.
But I just run it down your body. This is where...
Along sensitive areas.
Yeah, other sensitive areas too. But this is where, like, because when you do it to me, and I've really started to understand this more recently, but this is where I started getting into, like, I like sensations.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, you and I are both big into sensations.
I'm very big.
Yes.
You're also big into the pain and the
Pain
spankings
is just
and
another
stuff.
sensation.
I am not though. Like, I'm not into the pain as much as you are. I mean, for crying out loud, I just bought a shirt that says "Cuddle Slut," so
Yeah, I know.
and I will be wearing that.
Yes, you will.
Along with some crotchless panties for you because I love you and I love wearing those and I feel sexy in them.
Mm-hmm. Well, you should, because you are sexy in them.
I mean, some people, it's weird, but some people think of like other things like that as like the women's underwear type stuff as parts of BDSM, and I really don't see that as part of a BDSM.
It can be part of BDSM play, and that's
Well, at least what I'm doing is not part of BDSM.
right. For you, it is.
Aside from
It
me
is
doming you
not.
in panties and high heel, well, thigh highs. I don't have any heels yet. But yeah, doming you in that. I guess that's where, for me, it becomes BDSM. But for other people, that's where they get into like sissy play. And I'm not
No,
into
we're not.
sissy play at all. Because I don't effeminize. Is that a word? I think it's a word. It is now.
It is now.
It's a word now.
I think it works.
I don't effeminize myself when I'm in the panties
Right.
or the thigh highs.
Right.
I am still just me, as masculine as I can be. Because I'm not also a super masculine guy.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But, I mean, there's all kinds. And it's fascinating now as we go through. Because you started reading books on things.
Yes.
Also,
well, I did start. I mean, I have always enjoyed the porn man's books where the sex was a little more rough. If there was biting, I was very happy.
I've always enjoyed biting you.
I've always enjoyed being bitten.
I've always enjoyed biting. In fact, when we dated back in high school, one of the things I would do quite frequently when we would make out is I would bite your neck. Mm-hmm. And you were like, this is...
yeah.
This is where it's at.
Sometimes you would bite my wrists. Oh, so nice.
I still bite your wrists.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, calm down, lady. We gotta get this podcast
right?
going.
Getting distracted. But yeah, but anyways, the books that I would read, rough sex, biting,
Multiple
bondage,
guys.
that I'm sorry. So like the fight scene in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where she's fighting with the guy and she stabs him and he's bleeding on her.
Yes, I know this because the first time we watched that movie, we watched it together.
No blood play though, in like real life. No, that's a no.
But we watched that movie together and then we fucked.
Mm-hmm.
We fucked hard after that.
So I understand where some of my work friends were like, why don't you read 50 Shades of Grey? This seems like it's right up your alley. But no.
I think your response to them was, no, I enjoy good writing.
My initial response was, I don't think it's the same thing at all. Because it's not. It really wasn't. He's going to kill her.
I don't see.
That man is not okay.
Even though we share books all the time, I've never had any desire to read any of your Born Man's books.
That's okay.
I'm not saying it's not okay. It's just kind of weird to me. Like, I've never had
I have no
desire
to read any of your Stephen King books, so, you know.
Listen, I like to be scared.
You do like to be scared, and to be perfectly honest, I've probably read some Porn Man stories that were darker than your Stephen King stories, and I'm still not going to read your Stephen King books.
I don't care.
Right? No, I don't care either. Like, we're on the same page.
We are on the same page. You have your stuff. I have my stuff. We're fine.
Sometimes we read the same thing. Sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
It's all okay. But no, I did find some books. Just stumbled on them because, you know, Amazon was giving away like the first book in the series for free, and I was like, "What the hell? Free book? We'll check it out. What? There's nothing to lose."
You can't go wrong with free. It's a great price.
Right? Exactly. The plot seemed good. They were riffs on Ian Fleming's James Bond. So
really,
yes, all the titles were riffs to James Bond titles. I was like, already we've got puns and we've got sex.
That's right up your alley. You love
and
puns.
And it's free.
Yeah, you love puns.
So
love
there
sex,
was exactly. There was every reason to give it a try. And yeah, no, it was BDSM played a central role.
Nice.
But it was more realistic than 50 Shades of Grey and other.
Well, that's a low bar, okay.
It's a very low bar, and also other, like, I've read other porn men's books that have, like, BDSM, but these ones were still more realistic.
Makes sense.
There were club scenes in which, like, club etiquette was discussed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Like, contract negotiations, safe word. Like, it was more realistic.
We have a safe word. It's pineapples.
Yes. Our safe word is pineapples.
It actually is pineapples.
We also use the red, yellow.
We do
green,
use the red. Yeah,
the safety light system.
Oh, so for those who don't actually know what that might mean, instead of using a safe word, what you can use during BDSM play or even any play that you're doing, doesn't matter, any play, you can use the stop lights, red, yellow, and green. So red means stop, obviously. Yellow's like, okay, we can kind of keep going. We're okay.
Or pause.
And green just means, yeah, it's a good to go. We are good to go.
Yeah, green is good to go. Yellow is a pause.
I've seen it a couple of ways. Yellow's a pause, and yellow's kind of like, we're okay still, but we're still gonna like keep a more watchful eye to see if this goes into the bad way to the red. So yeah, I've seen that. So,
but yeah, with red being stop.
Red being stop, full stop. But yeah, so I don't read sexy books or anything because I'm more visual. So I watch porn. A lot of my porn now I watch is you. So there's that. It's porn I filmed. It's weird. I'm like, but I don't see the stuff I filmed. So that's the other weird thing. I just watch it and it's you and I see you. And I go, this is arousing and exciting and sexy.
Right. But anyway, those books were I think a better entry point as far as like fictional BDSM.
Now, were you reading that stuff when we were exploring? Because we're also talking like back at the time when we were exploring some of this stuff. Others that might know,
those books after 2016.
Okay. Yeah, so before then, when we were exploring, one of the other reasons that we weren't exploring as much as we could is we had small kids.
Yes.
And having small kids, you have a mindset where, you know, you're parents and they can't know about anything that's going on. So I couldn't be like whipping you in the room while the kids were like not too far away watching SpongeBob or something like that.
We were in a small
apartment.
A small apartment. We were in a small space, and almost all of our sex was stealth sex. And
the ninja sex?
Right, the ninja sex.
The ninja parent sex. Anyone who's a parent knows what that is. That's the parent sex. That's where they're like, they're distracted. We have 10 minutes. Go, 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 go. How fast can we get each other off? Let's see. It's like a race.
Right?
Because that's a question that comes up a lot for other parents when they ask me. They're like, how do you do it? How do you have sex? How do you do all this stuff with your kids? You have kids. How do they not know? And unfortunately...
they are aware.
They are aware, but we don't discuss. They
don't need intimate details, and they're
don't. Not asking for intimate details, and they don't need them. We don't discuss that openly.
I don't think it's any different than any other situation growing up. I mean, I was aware that my mom had sex.
Surprisingly, I was not aware my parents had sex, and I'm kind of happy about that. So.
Okay, they have 3 kids. You may not have been aware, but you...
What I'm saying is I wasn't aware when they were having sex. Because I wasn't... I was probably actively blocking that out at the time. For our kids, and I apologize, it's kind of hard to block us out. You are loud. You can get pretty loud.
I do my best, especially now that they're older and like
you screamed into a lot of pillows.
Mm-hmm. They slept through everything when they were little.
When they were little, they slept through everything. It was fantastic. God.
Once we put them to bed, they were out.
We actually were able to host at our house when people would come to our house and walk through, and we could have sex, and then they could go home, and the kids did not stir. And it was fantastic. And now they're older, and it's like a drop of a hat. Like they know when we have sex. Mm-hmm. And I go, this is terrible. We can't host anyone anymore.
No.
Maybe soon, no. But no, like, so yeah, I've gone through a lot of stages, and I'd say you're not more advanced, but the way you handle BDSM, I feel like it moved faster than me.
Yes, well, I think part of that is because to me, it feels so clear. A lot of my problems with sexual relationships is that there's a lot of this like social guesswork that I have to do with figuring out, like, if somebody's like the flirting and like figuring out if like people are interested in stuff, and like I can't do that. It was like,
no, you
so,
never
like,
flirted with me.
No.
Your idea of flirting with me was when we dated. The only reason we dated is because you stole my class ring, and I was oblivious enough to call you later on and go, hey, do you remember my class ring? Did you see where that went to? And then you told me I have it, and I said, can I have it back? And you said, you have to come and get it. I go, here, for all the guys out there that might feel oblivious, don't. I said flat out, do I have to come there? Like right now? It's getting late. That is what I said. And Sue, in all your glory, you were throwing out the signals like left and right. Like, you might as well have had a sign, a flashing sign, and flares.
I would have made one.
You probably would have. It would have been nice too.
But like, so like, because you know we had like a house party with friends, and we did like one of those icebreaker games, and like it was like a, I don't know, I forget what it was. It was like a truth or dare or something. They're like, what lies have you told to get sex? And I was like, people lie to get people to have sex with them?
Yeah, I don't know what the lies would be either. I can't remember what that would be. I can't think of anything.
Because the only thing I've ever done is, so would you like to have sex? Because I would.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're very straightforward about that. Because I am oblivious and I will not take hints at all.
I don't know how to give hints. So
see, you're perfect for me. We should have sex.
We should. but yeah, so figuring out like what BDSM actually is, it was so clear because there are clear rules. There are limits that are to be discussed. Consent needs to be given long before anything even starts to happen. There's no guesswork. There's no maybe this is okay, maybe this isn't.
Well,
we've already discussed that.
Yeah, but also, but even like during it, there's the occasional like, is everything okay? It's constant. It's a constant like checking in on you all the time.
And it can be stopped at any time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whereas that is an unfortunate truth that in an actual sexual situation, you could tell the other person to stop and they might not.
I think everyone should have safe words for every kind of sex.
Right?
Just every in general sex.
Like,
it would be a lot better. But at the same time, from what I've seen and what I've experienced with you, is that because your enjoyment, like you do enjoy sensations, but your major enjoyment is pain. You do enjoy the pain more than I do. And when we've explored with others, with the BDSM, everyone goes right to the pain. They always go to like the spanking or something like that, or like the pinching or something like that, or claws of some sort. And I found that I do not like that. I don't like that. So for the longest time, I never thought I would be a sub or a dom because I didn't have that reaction to what everyone assumed BDSM was, or assumed was we were going to start everything off of was just pain. Mm-hmm. Because I was like, nope, I don't like it. So I would push away. No, I don't want it. I don't like it. And now I found that more sensations like the scratching and stuff like that, fingernails on my body I like melt into a puddle. I can't even function sometimes. Like on the couch, you'll just scratch my head, and it's like, okay, we're just gonna not. I can't even function. I'm just gonna be here, enjoying the moment. Which is weird to know that that's a form of BDSM. It's bizarre to know that to me. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's funny to think that there are probably listeners we have out there right now who have experienced or do some form of BDSM with their partner and don't even realize it. Just like we did. We had no idea that the knife play was part of
no
BDSM.
Clue. None whatsoever.
I just thought I was a circus performer. Taught myself how to juggle knives at 16. I can use knives in sex. I'm like Cirque du Soleil here. I'm a whiz at knives, apparently.
Oh, yes. You are a whiz at knives.
But it's not the circus, apparently.
No, it's not the circus. But, I mean, circling back to the pain thing, while I do enjoy pain and I do have a high pain tolerance, I also don't enjoy pain for pain's
No, you don't.
sake.
That there's a massive difference in BDSM between pain that is given for pleasure and pain for pain's sake. So even looking back on some of the extreme stuff that I've seen that I rejected before, yes, that man is giving that woman pain, but it's pain that she wants that is giving her pleasure. He's not giving that pain just because. And that's what a lot of the guys that have contacted me, they feel like that's what I do. Like, I'm going to come in, I'm just going to slap her around, and smack her face and stuff like that, and slap her ass until she's red. And like, no, you're not. You're not going to come anywhere near. Because I also, as we've played with BDSM more, I've felt more protective of you.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like as your husband and your lover, but like as a dom, which is a weird thing. I'm more protective of you then, and it's kind of colored my interactions with people online too. Like the people that contact me through Reddit and SLS and FetLife, it's kind of colored that I now have that. It's like a new version of me that has more protective qualities towards you, because I'm going to make sure that everything, just like the contracts, we start off with these, we have contracts. I have like mini contract type stuff in my mind, and I'm going through it with people all the time. Like, are we checking these boxes? Are we making sure that everything is safe and on the up and up before we even move on to anything more? And again, we don't play BDSM with everyone.
No.
We are not a 24/7 couple.
No, we are not.
And even 24/7 couples have breaks, so that's, they have to have a break. It's a very huge psychological commitment that they are giving to each other. So there has to be some kind of a break somewhere.
Right.
At some point.
In the aftercare but like they're not always on. Even at like a 24/7, it's not always like a high intensity.
No, it's not. But I mean, this is stuff. We plan on making this another episode, at least one other episode.
At least one more, if not another. I feel as though BDSM as a whole is not something we can just lump into one episode.
Part of this is why we have our logo. This is what our logo is about. Is we are swingers, but we also practice BDSM, and there's a lot in the community that thinks that those cannot be the same. They can't go together. You can't be a swinger and in the BDSM community. It's not possible. You're either one or the other. And there is more people that I've met, and you've met with me, and I've met online talking to them, that's not the case. Like, they're like, yeah, I like, we like tying each other up in blindfolds and stuff like that. We have floggers, we have whips. I have a very nice whip now with the little blue Viper, which I just bought. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. But at the same time, they're like, you know what? I can just meet up with a couple and we can just have straight sex. We'll be fine. We don't have to do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's other couples that go, you know what? All the BDSM stuff we keep to ourselves. That's just us. That's something we do as a couple. And for everyone else, we do straight sex. They won't know anything about that. Everyone's different. Every couple is different. Every couple's dynamic is different. And being in the community now, I've started learning that you can't assume someone's dynamic right off the bat.
No.
You have to. And that's where we're getting to the couple that brought us further along than I ever thought we would ever be.
Yes.
And that is they're Lady Kelly 2015 on FetLife. We met them actually on SLS.
Yes. Yep. They contacted us on SLS.
The fun thing is, Lady Kelly, she's the one that... it's Lady Kelly and Dr. Fuck. Lady Kelly contacted me on SLS, and this is how little I knew about BDSM at the time. I was like, that's a no.
But
I was like...
it couldn't have been a complete no because you told me about it.
Well, I'm sorry. I found Lady Kelly quite attractive, so...
Right, so it
wasn't a complete no.
It wasn't a complete no because you told me about it.
I told you about it.
But you definitely told me about it and the whole, like, well, you're going to say no, but I'm telling you about it anyway. And then I would shocked you because I was like, we need to ask more questions. I don't think this means what you think it means.
Yeah. And then we went from there. And they have brought us in our sexual lives with them for BDSM and just our personal lives and growth. I think that couple has brought us further than I ever thought we were ever going to go.
I think so, yeah.
At least this early in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've traveled with that couple. We're traveling next year. They're the ones we're going to Bucharest and Budapest with next year. We went to Vegas with them. They're the couple with the shoe. That's them. So hopefully we're gonna check all of our sound stuff. At some point we are gonna actually talk with them. We're gonna bring them in on our podcast, and it's gonna be a fun time because they're a fascinating couple. And every time I talk to Dr. Fuck, it's just I learned so much stuff, and it's just new perspectives on things I never even thought of.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with Lady Kelly. She's the one that really started helping me get into figuring out that I'm more about sensations and feelings, and not so much I want to be just whipped or something like that. And she's the one we figured out I don't want to be blindfolded with.
Right. You can be blindfolded for a little bit. Because it's the anticipation is there, and that's arousing. But if it goes on for too long, my body goes, well, this is boring. Which is a weird thing to think of when you have like claws on your body, people playing with your nipples or something like that. Someone's squeezing my balls. I'm just like, this is not really all that exciting. I'm kind of bored. All because you can't see it.
All because I can't see, which is weird to me. But hey,
But now we know.
Now we know. And that's the important thing. But yeah, I think we'll stop there for this episode. This is definitely going to be something we're going to talk about a lot more. Because like I said, this is part of our logo. That's why we came up with the title, Our Safe Word is Pineapples, is because pineapples for the swinger part, but then also we are into the BDSM, which is the safe word part, and then our logo is a shibari pineapple with a vagina. So, which is fantastic.
It is. We have a beautiful logo.
It is a beautiful logo. But we'll stop there for now, and we will definitely again, anytime anyone wants to contact me and talk about the podcast or talk about anything they want me to talk about with you, or want you to talk about, please do. Leave us ratings. It does help. It helps us get further along and has more people help us out. And come check us out. Tell your friends. Tell all your friends. The more the merrier.
The more the merrier.
That's a great thing. But we will end that tonight, and we will see you guys again in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you.